Welcome everybody to today's Zoom service for Dharma School. I'm going to try to conduct this the best I can within, the normal format we would use if we were all meeting at temple in the Hondo.
Yes.
And so that's why I appear to be in the Hondo right now, even though I'm only virtually there. And the format, the flow of the service will go very similar to what we would do for a Dharma School service.
Okay.
And that way maybe everybody will recognize the service a little bit more and feel a little more comfortable with how we conduct it. So that was my intent of doing it this way right now. So let me start with sharing my screen. And hopefully everybody sees my opening slide.
Yes.
Okay, so again, welcome to the Dharma School service for today, Sunday, June 7th. And I'll be acting both as the minister and the chairperson today. So this is going to be our service format. We'll begin with Shoko like we usually do, and then I'll ring Kansho, give some opening remarks. We'll do the fruit and floral and continue on through with the rest of the service. So we'll start with the incense offering for this morning. And I know for everybody, you don't have the incense available with you, but I have some burning here in my own little burner, and I'm going to offer it as representative of each of you, as though you could make the offering. So I will go ahead and offer incense, Shoko before service. Gasho namanda, namanda, namanda. And that way everybody else got an opportunity to virtually Oshoko before service starts. So next, I'll be ringing Kansho to begin service. And I know we're already all gathered here, just as a lot of Sundays. Many of you are already sitting in the Hondo. Before Kansho starts to ring, you're not necessarily racing up the stairs to get into the service. But use this as an opportunity as I ring Kansho to go ahead and settle down, and just as Oshoko prepares you to listen to the Dharma, allow the calling voice of the Kansho bell to welcome you and prepare you to join in today's service. Namanda, namanda,
Namanda, namanda, namanda, namanda.
So next we'll have some opening remarks. And pretty much I just wanted to say I'm really happy that we're all able to join together, even though it's just virtually. It's better than not getting to see each of you, hear your voices, or participate in the Dharma with all of my good Dharma friends. And so that's very special to me that we are doing this as a service for everybody who would like to join in. I also have some administrative remarks I'd like to make. First of all, as a reminder, please mute your mic unless you're the lead for recitation or for chanting, or if you have something to announce or contribute during the appropriate parts of the service. And also, for those students who did volunteer to lead either a reading or some of the chanting, the slides that you'll be participating in have your name at the top of them, so you know which ones to join in with. So we will now move on with the service. And again, in trying to keep this the way we would usually conduct a service, we're doing a fruit and floral offering. This is our fruit offering. The fruit represents the gratitude for that which nourishes us both physically and spiritually. And the flowers, they represent our gratitude for the beauty in this world and our acknowledgement that all things are impermanent. They don't last forever. And here's our artist, Juliana, and the support team, Jaden. And we thank them for the fruit and floral offering for today. Next, we'll have a moment of meditation. Gasho, those who live in suffering and yet manage to stand above it are truly happy. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namanda, Namanda, Namanda. Today's Sutra Chanting will be Jusei-ge. I'll begin with the first few stanzas of Jusei-ge, followed by some done by Zoe, then Ava, and then I'll close out the rest.
Oh, also, I'll be helping too with the chanting.
Okay. I broke it into 3 parts.
Oh, yeah. So Zoe and we already figured it out. So I already know what lines I'm going to do.
Okay, great. I will try to have the right ones up on the screen for you. Thank you very much. Gagon chosegan ishimu jodo shigan fumanzo sefujo shoga ga muryoko fuidai seshu fusai shobingu sefujo shoga gashi jobundo myosho chojipo kukyo mishomon sefujo shoga ryokujin shonen joe shubongyo shigumu jodo isho tenin shi
Jinriki and Daiko Fushomu Saido Shoujo San Kumyo Kosai Shuyakunan Kai Hi Chi Egen Meshi Konmoan He Sokusho Akuro Sudatsu Zen Shumon Koso Jomanzo Ioro Jipo Nichigatsu Shujuki Tenko On Pugen Ishu Kai Hozo Kose Kudokuho Jo Odai Shuchu Seppo Shishiku Kuyo Isai Boots Gu Soku Shu Toku Hon Ganeshitsu Joman Toku I Sangayo Yo Butsumu Gechi Sudatsumi Fusho Gangaku Eri Toshi Saisho Son
Shiganya Koka Daisen Okando Koku Shoteni Tochin Myoke Namandabu 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 Gani Shikudoku Yodo Seisai Donbo Naishi Ojo Rako Sho Namanda 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 Namanda. Thank you, everybody. That was almost like being together to chant. So I really appreciate that. The next thing we'll be doing is Golden Chain, and reading will be done by Anika. And I did want to mention that this might sound not quite as familiar as we're used to. This is a combination of the Golden Chain we recite in our service book and the golden puzzle that was interpreted by Reverend Kobata of San Francisco Buddhist Church. So there's the same elements, but a little bit different wording. So here will be Anika reciting for us the Golden Chain.
I am a link in Amita's golden chain of love that stretches around the world. May I always try to keep my link bright and strong. I will try to be kind and helpful to every living being and assist all who are weaker than myself. I will try to think clear and helpful thoughts, to speak truthful and helpful words, and do kind and helpful deeds, knowing that on what I do now depends not only on my happiness or unhappiness, but also that of others. May every link in Amita's golden chain of love become bright and strong, and may we all realize and become perfect peace.
Gasho, namanda, namanda, namanda. Thank you, Anika. All right, the next part of the service will be the Dharma message. So I opted not to do slides for this, even though this was a great opportunity to do it, because it is difficult when we're at our hondo and projecting slides. But I just wanted to share some thoughts with everybody. So again, welcome and good morning to today's service. And I just really hope that everybody is doing well and staying safe and washing your hands often and wearing masks when you're out in public and physically distancing, but staying socially connected and all that stuff that we're trying to do right now. Life has been pretty crazy lately, and with the coronavirus pandemic, the stay-at-home orders, these physical distancing requirements, things like online school and businesses closed, and so many workers who have lost their jobs, and so many people who have become sick with COVID-19, and then hearing news of so many people dying from it. It's not only crazy, but it's downright scary at times right now, what's happening. And even if we only encounter many of these events on TV or via YouTube or Instagram, we can still see all the pain and suffering of others. And we've all been experiencing different levels of suffering of our own. And these current times have proved the Buddha's teaching of the First Noble Truth, that in our lives, we all experience suffering. And did you know that in his first Dharma talk at Deer Park, Sakyamuni Buddha specified some of these sufferings? The historical Buddha told us that birth is suffering, and old age and sickness and death are all suffering, and we've seen a lot of that recently. But he also said to encounter someone hateful or that you dislike is suffering, and to part with a friend or be away from a friend or to part with someone you love is suffering. Getting what we don't want and not having what we do want are both suffering. So in other words, to exist as human beings is to encounter suffering in our lives. And when the Buddha taught us about the existence of suffering, it wasn't just that. He didn't just do that to upset us and bum us out. He taught us about the existence of suffering, but also the cause of suffering and the end of suffering and the path that leads us from suffering. When he did this, he didn't actually use the word suffering because he wasn't speaking in English at the time. He used the Pali term dukkha. And we tend to translate that to suffering, but there's a really broad range of words that more accurately explain this term dukkha. And the spectrum of definitions ranges from feeling unsettled to being irritated, from feeling impatient or annoyed to being frustrated or disappointed, experiencing dissatisfaction or aggravation or tension, and from having stress to being anxious, feeling sadness or sorrow, pain or depression, and from experiencing misery or agony to deep anguish. So, dukkha can be as simple as being frustrated, like having to stay at home and not being allowed to hang out with your friends, to being annoyed, like having to put up with your family members being in your personal space all the time and slowing down your internet when you're trying to do something, to being in misery, like finding out that your class trip or family vacation that you really looked forward to since last year has been canceled because of coronavirus. So we all experience these things to different degrees. And I'm sure that each of you could add your own little experiences recently with dukkha if we asked you to make a whole list of them and how you've been experiencing this right now. And I like to use another good word to substitute for dukkha and not just suffering, and that's unease. But I was also taught something by Reverend David Matsumoto, who likes to use the word dis-ease, which is awfully close to the word disease. as in COVID-19. So I think maybe Reverend Matsumoto might have been onto something, because dis-ease is certainly what we're experiencing right now during this time of disease. So yeah, dukkha happens, suffering happens, dis-ease, displeasure, unhappiness, they all happen. And right now, they seem to be happening a lot. But you know, dukkha has an opposite. And in Pali, that word is sukha. And sukha can be defined as feeling at ease or experiencing pleasure or being happy. And one way to flip from being in deep dukkha to singing songs of joyous sukha is to practice gratitude. And I know some of you are there saying, I know you're on mute, but you're saying to yourselves, what? Practice gratitude at a time of so much suffering and unease? You know, what could be more crazy than that, except all these crazy things going on in the world? Or it could be what's needed to get you out of this funk of dukkha right now. And to help illustrate this point, I'd like to share with you the story called Gratitude to a Bamboo Thicket, which comes from the Samyukta Ratnapitaka Sutra. That's a rather long name for a sutra, and I'm not really good at pronouncing these words, but that's my best try. So, in a bamboo thicket at the foot of the Himalayan mountains, there once lived a parrot together with many other animals and birds. And one day a fire started in the thicket from the friction of the bamboo stalks rubbing against each other in a strong wind. And the birds and the animals were frightened and confused. The parrot, feeling compassion for their fear and suffering, and wishing to repay the kindness he had received in the bamboo thicket where he was allowed to shelter himself, tried to do all that he could to save the other creatures. He dipped himself in a pond nearby and flew over the fire and shook off the drops of water to try to extinguish the fire. And he repeated this diligently with the heart of compassion out of gratitude to the bamboo thicket. The spirit of kindness and self-sacrifice was noticed by a heavenly God who came down from the sky and said to the little parrot, "You have a gallant mind, but what good do you expect to accomplish with a few drops of water against a great fire?" And the parrot answered, "There is nothing that cannot be accomplished by the spirit of gratitude and self-sacrifice. I will try over and over again, then over again in my next life." And the great God was impressed by the parrot's spirit, and together they worked to extinguish the fire. So even though the world was literally burning all around him, the little parrot didn't just feel sorry for himself with the impending loss of his home. The little parrot didn't wallow in his suffering, in his sadness and sorrow and the agony of seeing his home ablaze. He was so grateful for the shelter that the bamboo thicket provided that he dipped his wings in the water again and again and to drip whatever he could onto that burning thicket. And the parrot's gratitude toward his neighborhood was so strong that he didn't give up, even though he was exhausted. And even though the heavenly God told him he was just one little bird, there was no way he could put out the fire by himself. And while it seemed like a losing battle, the little parrot flew on with a determination that we can either admire or, like the heavenly God, say is foolish and pointless. So with this coronavirus pandemic and stay-at-home orders and physical distancing requirements and online school and businesses closed and workers losing their jobs and so many people getting sick and the news of so many others dying, we too might feel as if there's very little that we can do in the face of all this dukkha in this world with all this suffering. But the little parrot and his gratitude toward his thicket, that's gratitude toward his neighborhood, he teaches us an important lesson. We can all do our small part out of gratitude toward our friends and our family, toward our neighbors. We can each do a little things like staying at home and washing our hands and using sanitizer and physical distancing. And we all can wear a mask, and that's something that's simple that protects ourselves. But what it also does is it protects our neighbors and our friends and our family and even the strangers we encounter. And when we all do what might seem like a small thing, we collectively become a big force that fights back against a global pandemic. And just like the little parrot teaming up with the heavenly God, together we can do our part to accomplish what is a seemingly impossible task. We might inconvenience ourselves, but it's our gratitude for our homes and our families and our friends and our neighborhoods. That's why we do these things. And we express our thanks to the healthcare workers, to the grocery store employees, to first responders, to teachers, to Dharma school teachers, to the farmers, to the mail carriers, to pharmacists, to factory and warehouse workers, to delivery drivers, to the civil service employees, to journalists and photographers, to everyone working to keep us safe and fed and healthy and sheltered and entertained and informed and as close to our normal lives as possible. And even though we all feel like we're surrounded by dukkha, like the little parrot surrounded by fire, if we act out of gratitude for all that we've been given, we can collectively be more at ease and feel that happiness as together we get through these really crazy times. So please join me in Gasho as we express our gratitude for all that we have and all that we are by proclaiming Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namanda, 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 Namanda. Okay, so thank you for letting me share that story with everybody. And we have next the announcements. So let me go back to sharing the screen. There we go, announcements. Does anybody have announcements they'd like to make right now?
Hi, I have an announcement.
Go ahead, Cassidy.
Okay, hi. So I was told to share with you guys that Sensei is on the San Diego Union Tribune for today. So,
Oh,
yeah.
So pick up a newspaper.
Yep. That's it. Thank you.
thank you very much. Anybody else have an announcement or something they want to share at this time? Maybe you found a good stash of toilet paper at some store or extra hand sanitizer somewhere that we can all rush out and stock up
Costco
on.
and Rite Aid.
We were able to get Kirkland toilet paper. I was so excited.
Yay!
I was ready to post it on social media. I was so excited.
And at times like these are important announcements.
Oh yeah, I have an announcement. So for the junior YBA, since the chicken karaage luncheon got canceled, it was like the week after like COVID started, we're going to be refunding all like the tickets that were sold. So I'm not really sure how we're going to do that yet, but we are. So if anyone bought tickets, just let us know.
Venmo. Okay. Any more announcements? All right. Next, we'll be reading our pledge. And I was looking for somebody to volunteer to do this. And it can be either a parent, a teacher, or a student.
Sensei, I can do it.
Okay, and this was written by Argo Manshu for us.
Our pledge. Breaking out of my shell, I will share a warm smile and speak gentle words, just like the kind Buddha. Not becoming lost in my greed, anger, and ignorance, I shall think and act with an open mind, just like the calm and peaceful Buddha. Not putting myself first, I will share the joy and sadness of others, just like the compassionate Buddha. Realizing the gift of life I have received, I shall strive to live each day to its fullest, like the Buddha who tirelessly works to liberate all.
Thank you very much. And normally we'd have some music meditation, but I don't have any music ready right now, so we'll just do some closing meditation. Gasho. It's like all of the bad stuff that you went through, that you hated along the way, the people who disappointed you, the things that didn't go the way you wanted, suddenly you feel grateful to them because those are the things that got you to here, that got you to this. Character Adam Forrest in 2005 movie, The Perfect Man. Namo Mera Boots. Namo Mera Boots. Namanda, 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 Namanda. And now we'll close with Dr. Lisa, and I will stop my screen sharing so she may share with all of us.
Thank you, Smitty Sensei. I'd like to thank you for this wonderful service. It was nice it's been a while, so it was great. Thank you so much for preparing that. I'd also like to thank Juliana and Jaden for the fruit and floral, and Ava, Zoe, and Jenna for helping with the chanting, and Anika for reading the Golden Chain, and Cassidy for reading our pledge. So thank you all for that. I'd also like to thank everyone who participated in the Father's Day activity. So all of your quotes, those of you that participated, have been published in the June Kaiho on the back page. So thank you for that. Hopefully all the dads saw it. And then I wanted to share that letter that one of our temple members wrote to all of us. So I'm gonna, let's see if I can do this. Hopefully it'll work for me this time. Okay. You see the letter? So I'll just read it to you. It says, "Dear Dharma School staff, parents, and students, many thanks for your cheerful kindness and thoughtful remembrance and card received earlier this month. Please forgive me for this belated acknowledgement while trying to decipher the signature of the student, age 4, who took the time to write and draw the thoughtful note. Kiana, I loved your beautiful note and drawing of the house. When we are able to resume Sunday services again, I hope to meet and thank you in person. You certainly brought in a sunshine of light during my home alone together time and social distancing policy mandated by the virus. I love you all. In Gasho, Ruth Voorhees." And she said, "Kiana, I knew your grandmother Kikuye well. We grew up together and we're on the same basketball team." So anyways, that was just one of the letters. I know that Mateo also received a letter from one of the Sangha members, and she was very grateful for his letter. I'm sure others received letters. Does anyone want to share? So anyways, thank you all for writing those letters. The members really appreciated it. But I think that's it. Oh, and so next week will be your last Dharma School class with your classes. And then on June 21st, we're going to have an all Dharma School end of the year celebration. So I'll be sending info out about that. It will be online. So we'll have some fun games for all of you to participate in. Won't be the same as being at the park, but it'll be fun. So hopefully everyone can participate. And I think that's it for me. Okay. Well, again, thank you everyone for participating today. It was great to see all of you. And I don't know if Smitty Sensei wants to say anything, or
if we could just close with Gasho and then we'll end the recording. So Gasho. Namo Mera Boots, Namo Mera Boots, Namanda, 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 Namanda. So thanks everybody. I'm going to stop the recording now.
Thank you.